This is grass. You mean marijuana? Yeah. Lord have mercy, is that what that is?
Alrighty, Uncle Roddus back again with another video of new vinyl finds and arrivals and all that crap. Yeah, alrighty. So there's been some interesting stuff on Trade Me. So there's a guy on Trade Me. He's pissed a lot of people off in the New Zealand music community, collecting community, in that those of us of limited funds can't afford to purchase older records that we would like to have in our collection, because people like this man are absolutely seem to have bottomless wallets and can bid huge sums on records, and has been doing so for the last couple of years. And a few people have sort of said he's pretty much single-handedly put the price of collectible older records up in New Zealand big time. But the problem is that he's now trying to sell a lot of those records, and he's putting them on Trade Me for rather large sums, because he paid rather large sums and he's not selling many. Admittedly, he has sold a few, but to be honest, out of every 100 he puts up, he's only selling 3 or 4 of them, of the more expensive ones. But he is putting up some other interesting stuff, and I actually have purchased some off him that were reasonably cheap and weren't like 3 figures or 4 figures, some of them. Actually, he did sell one the other day for $3.5 grand. I was really surprised that that record went for that. I understand it's even gone for more. It's one that I would love to have, but there is a reissue available, and even that is getting expensive. Anyways, let's get into the music. Playing in the background is this thing here. I'd never heard of them, but I did come across their name recently, where I picked up a book called Just for the Record, which is pretty much a full discography of New Zealand, or nearly full discography of New Zealand vinyl and lathe cuts, for that matter, released from way back in the early 50s or late 40s, when the first New Zealand music was pressed onto vinyl, right up to around about 2000. Of course, there wasn't much getting released in 2000. So this was listed there, and this band Mutton Gun Plexus. Yeah, so on red vinyl, which I can't show you because it's on the turntable, but yeah, so this was from 1990. It was released on a UK label. They are a New Zealand band. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members. Now, I had a look on Discogs, because this is actually really reasonably available and cheap on Discogs, and they've got 2 more albums after this one, up until about 1994. Yeah, alternative, there's some really weird shit, industrial shit, there's some Flying Nun sort of stuff, there's some post-punky alternative. Yeah, it's really quite good. One of the guys' names, and I can't tell you which one it was now, had been through the Chills, but then so have a lot of other musicians in New Zealand. One of them was from Nocturnal Projections, out of the North Island, back in the early 80s, so yeah, I did hear a little piece of that. So yeah, I was I got it for a pretty good price, so no one was bidding on it, so I don't think really anybody knows what it is. So I'm pretty pleased to have that, because I think it's actually quite good. So I'll do my New Zealand ones from this trader. So I was really pleased that he had one of these. I did pay a little bit more than I paid for the other one, but this is Braille Records release 4 volts, something's burning. Braille Records number. What number is it? I've got my reading glasses on. No, there's nothing written on the spine. So the Braille Records collective out of Wellington in the 1980s put out about a dozen 12-inch pieces of vinyl. I now have all of them bar 2, and they are the 2 hardest ones to get. But this was one of the last ones I needed to get. There is some 7 inches, but I'm not worried about them. There were some later CDs that they released during the 90s. But yeah, I think about a dozen pieces of vinyl. So 2 more to get, and they are 2 that I probably, well, you know, they may turn up. Whether I can afford to buy them is another thing. It just depends on where they turn up. I wonder what number Braille this is. It doesn't actually say anywhere on it. Anyway, so pleased to have that. And then also from the cellar, these only just turned up today. I have just cleaned them and I'm playing them. There's one missing, isn't there? Oh, there it is. Okay. This one here, I've been on my want list for a while. Flies Inside the Sun, an audience of others, including herself. This is underground, noisy sort of stuff. Brian Crook's in this, and Peter Stapleton. Brian Crook's in the Renderers, and lots of other local bands from the 80s, underground bands from the 80s in Christchurch. And Peter Stapleton, I think it was Peter that passed away last year, unfortunately. He was in the Pin group, wasn't he? And again, on many other Christchurch, legendary underground Christchurch bands, Kim Peters and Danny Butt. So 4-piece synthesizers, guitars, bass and drums. I haven't played this yet, but I'm pretty sure it's underground, lo-fi, sort of noisy stuff. Yeah, looking forward to hearing that. I'm not sure. They did release several records. This is, I think, the only one on vinyl. This, I think, was on the... When is this released? It says Crank Records. 1995. Yeah. Crank Records 08 out of the US. Yeah, there was about another 2 or 3 or 4 records past albums past this, but I don't think any of those were released on vinyl. And then finally from this Trade Me seller, I did pick up this one for $5. Now, Ode Records is a New Zealand label from the 70s and 80s, and they put out a lot of folk stuff, jazz stuff, and more lightweight, sort of adult orientated rock, MOR. Yeah, a lot of weird sort of, not weird, a lot of stuff like that, but some good jazz. So Ode's not a label I just jump on willy-nilly, because there's a lot of stuff on there that just doesn't do anything for me. And they release a lot of international stuff. Yeah, this cropped up. Now, it was listed as a New Zealand record, and it kind of is. It was recorded here in New Zealand in the mid 80s. It was released in 1986, I think, or 87. It's got quite a few New Zealand musicians on it. A couple of names I was familiar with. Brian Smith, I have a couple of his records. He was good jazz, and he was in some good pop rock groups in the 70s too, actually. Now Ramsey Nijam is the leader on this. He wrote all the music. He's an American, I believe. There's very, very little information about this. This is very rare, not very rare perhaps. Well, it is. It probably could be quite rare. Pretty obscure. Never seen it before. Never heard of it. $5. Gave it a whirl. Yeah, actually, really quite good. You're very okay. So that it's a bit folksy. It's a bit jazzy. It's a bit poppy. It's MOR, but it's kind of really well done, really well played, well constructed. Song, something I think I could listen to. There was 2 or 3 tracks that kind of really took my attention. You know, nothing wild. It's all pretty tame sort of stuff, but I actually was quite impressed. As I say, Ode Records is, you know, yeah, I like the cover actually. That's pretty cool. So yeah, that's an interesting find, and I think that it's hard to say. I mean, it might grow on me a bit more, or it might be something I listen to a few times and think, hey, that was pretty cool, but yeah, I probably won't play it very much. I don't know. So, a new issue on back order I had, and I don't think I showed this last video, but just in case I didn't. Miley Manzana, this is his latest record, Crisis and Opportunity, Volume 1, recorded, I think, last year during the lockdown period. Where was he recorded? At Livingston Studios. I think he's based overseas. he is sort of a New Zealander in some ways. I'm not sure of his history. I don't know much about him. This is something like his third or fourth record. I have his previous record, which was really good. This is great, really great jazz. Deep Matter Records. I really don't know much about this at all, really. Oh, yeah, out of the UK. I think he might be living and recording over there, actually. But Mark de Clive Lowe's on this. He's another Kiwi related person, a really good jazz guy. He's got quite a lot of music out, but not all of it on vinyl. A lot of it's just digital. I've got a couple of his records. His last couple were really, really good, and I should play them a lot more. Now, I did manage to get into Penny Lane last week and picked up a couple more New Zealand records. This one's pretty new out. This is the latest from Troy Kingy, Black Sea Golden Ladder. Troy's putting out, he's got this project on, it's like 10 records in 10 different genres in 10 years, I think it works out. Now, I missed the first one or two. I did get the second or third one on CD, and then the last two I managed to pick up on vinyl. This is definitely a big departure from the last couple. The last couple, it says that they were different genres. Well, they were. One was more reggae and one was more funk, but they did sound a little bit the same. But this is really interesting because Delaney Davison's had a big part in this, and he has co-written nearly all of the tracks, or actually I think all of the tracks on this are co-written with Delaney and Troy and someone else on one of the others. And Delaney's also produced the record, and he really, no, I know Delaney's music, I have a lot of his records, don't play them enough. He really comes across on this. Now, Troy's doing all the singing, but Delaney is written all over it, and people who know Delaney will know that. So this is something a little bit different from Troy this time. And as it said, he is trying to do 10 different records in 10 different genres. Don't often see modern alternative stuff turn up at Penny Lane a huge lot, but this one turned up. Now this is a Christchurch artist, and I think his name is Nick Hart, and he records under the name Shocking Pink, and this is his fourth record, I believe. Now I got his first one on vinyl. That was really lo-fi. I haven't played it that much. This is out of the UK from 2014. No, sorry, out of the US. Sorry, on Stars and Letters Records. A limited edition of 300 or 500 on this Shocking Pink vinyl. Ha ha ha. This one's really good. I really enjoyed this. I've played it once, and I really, really enjoyed it. And if I get time before my wife gets home from work tonight, I shall play it again. So that was a good find. So limited edition of 300 or 500, actually probably 300, I would imagine, on that pink vinyl, and that's the only issue. So not something that's easy to get your hands on. So that was a lucky find. And then finally, something non-New Zealand again. So Penny Lane have had some good stuff coming in, and I've showed some good French proggy stuff and some Dutch prog stuff and some other German stuff I picked up over the last couple of months from Penny Lane. There's been some interesting pickings. And I picked up this one. I wasn't familiar with it. This is originally a Caterpillar. This is their, I think it said first LP out of the UK. Was it the UK? Yeah, pretty sure it must have been the UK. And very English names. And it was released originally on Vertigo Records in the UK in 1971. And this is the Akakama Records reissue from 2000. As the guy at Penny Lane said, yes, it would be lovely to see an original of that, but they are, well, especially the Vertigo Swirl UK ones, pretty hard. I think there was one for $700 on Discogs. But there are quite a few reissues of this over the years, and this is the 2001. Only played it once so far, sounds interesting. A few people made some comments on Facebook when I posted it there in one of the groups I'm in, and that they really, really like this album, so that's bodes pretty well. So I'm pleased about that. So that is it. I have got some bids on one Trade Me purchase, and it is unusually for me, it is a 7-inch 45, and it's one of that I have been looking for a long time since I started collecting again. It was a 7-inch that I used to own back in the 80s, one of my favourite Christchurch bands back in the day, and I of course sold that with my collection back in the day, and so never seen a copy of it since. One did sell on disc on Trade Me a while back, but it got a bit pricey, so yeah, I'm not holding my breath about picking this one up for something affordable, but I put in a reasonably good bid for it, and we'll have to wait and see. But apart from that, I am still waiting since December last year, and it is now the start of August. I'm still waiting for my records from International Anthem, and I have 4 albums on the way. One of them got held up and held up and held up in the States, and it never arrived for months and months, and it was stuck on a boat, and then it finally turned up there probably nearly a month ago, and they sent me an email saying they'd sent them, and they still haven't arrived. They were supposed to be here 2 days ago, 3 days ago, still not here. So fingers crossed they are going to turn up one day soon. Okay, that's me. I better go and do some things and put all these away and play some more music and probably watch some more Olympics. Actually, we're just the Olympics are on. They're nearly finishing on Sunday. It is Friday evening, and New Zealand have done extremely well, and we have won more medals than ever before by one at the moment, but there's possibly more on the way. And if we can win 2 more golds, or one more gold, will equal our best ever haul, and 2 more golds, and we will get our best ever haul, and be the most amazing games that we've ever had. So for us, so that's really cool, and I really enjoy the Olympics, even though they shouldn't really have put the bloody things on in the situation that we're in at the moment, but they seem to have handled it pretty well, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm okay, prattling on. Happy vinyl hunting, guys, and we'll catch you next time.